for the first qualification match here at IEM Chengdu. It is a match that will decide the first team to go through to the playoffs. It will be FURIA and G2.
Sixth time that these two teams have played each other in the last 3 or 4 months. Well and truly familiar at this point. G2 will start things out on the T side and some quick movements in towards halls.
Yeah, very quick movements indeed. Some Pious taking a lot of that space. Yakinda's going to have to take first contact here in Pop Dog, and that has not gone well for him at all. Nice, sharp headshot or two coming through there from Malbs. And G2 draw first blood.
Early on, putting Yakinda in his place. G2 cutting sound, now starting to kick off the execute towards Inners. Will be Fallen and Yuri playing at range with the USPs and the P2K. Finally, you do get that molly that pushes Yuri away. G2 slowly working their way into this site, but Malbs now starting to scale forward with the help of the flash has fallen under pressure. Yuri flattened as well. This is going swimmingly for G2.
Yeah, fantastic entries across the board. There's just no answer at all for FURIA. Quesarado is left alone. Doesn't really have a snowball's chance in hell in this round, unfortunately. So just going to have a little bit of a look around, see if he can maybe find a pick here or there, get a little bit of extra cash in the back pocket for the fellas. But yeah, that's a resounding start really from G2. I mean, that's a gauntlet that's been thrown down against FURIA in the pistol.
Yeah, it's good to punish Yakinda early on in Pop there as well. Is a position that, especially if you're going to put a little bit more of a premium on making your way towards Inners, the CTs do want to go for some of those quick pinches and flank plays there. Be able to win some of those duels, punish the aggression over there as the T side early on, and you could be off to a good start. Quesarado does hold on to his Kevlar there, and does have 2K in the bank account, so I think he can get himself a FAMAS going into this next round if FURIA do want to force.
I mean, how confident would you be with a force after a round like that?
Depends. Depends if they have a specific idea in mind. Does seem like they want to just take the path of least resistance here. Singular flash purchased on Fallen there. Nothing invested into this round here for FURIA. They're going to trust the gun rounds in round number 3. It's a big stack out on yard. But G2 playing quite hands-off backside of Con. Very much not interested.
Yeah, a big change up in approach there from G2 from pistol to anti-eco, and that makes sense. They kind of want to see what FURIA's got for them, and apparently they've got quite a bit.
Lovely.
With those USBs, a nice flash in there from Fallen, and now Mattis has quite a job to do to try to recover this. He may well go down as well. So all of a sudden, a couple of guns in the back pocket here for FURIA.
$200 investment goes very well for FURIA. 2 picks and 2 Galils picked up here. Quesarado still has armor. They're very far out of position, so I think the retake is just not going to be happening due to not having a kit, not really having any investment in this round. Fallen will go hunting, see if he can maybe take one more gun away, but I mean, as far as FURIA is concerned, bringing 2 Galils into round number 3 this early on in the half is really going to help them min-max the money as we head through the next 12 rounds.
In saying that, though, G2 will be happy with the proceedings so far. Yeah, they lose a couple of guns in that round, but getting underway on the T side of train is not always the easiest of things to do, so just getting the pistol and the anti-eco gives them those extra couple of rounds buffer that can make the difference between, you know, maybe getting 4 and 6 or, you know, 3 and 5. If it becomes a difficult half, you've just got that extra couple of rounds buffer that shores it up a little bit from the outset.
Picked up 2 mollies at the end of the round there on the side of FURIA, which are some of the more expensive pieces of utilities, so they made out like bandits with really nothing but USPs and a well-timed flash from Fallen. But look, if you're going to be putting your money on anyone throwing effective flashes at this point, it's this man. He's been just doing it 4 years. Hands-off approach here early on for G2. Light contest in towards halls. HE nades not really finding their mark early on, and pace from Hunter will secure control of Inners halls.
He's holding on to that MAC-10 from the previous round, so just having a little bit of a go with it, try and take a bit of space early on in the piece with that extra pace that he's been granted.
Yeah. A few little tickles around the map here for the T side. Clearing out Pop Dog as well. A little bit of pressure on Ivy. They're just kind of denying info to the CT side. FURIA quite happy to play hands-off, knowing that they potentially have some range advantage here. Holding a little bit of util in towards the mid to late round. G2 now starting to regroup back towards the Inners halls, but there's already 3 players set up around this area. So 2 players on Inners. You could have a quick rotation in from Fallen as well. Gonna flash Molotov in towards Ivy for a peek. CTs don't see anything there, and you could just see FURIA ready for this inners pop that they already saw on the pistol.
Yep. It does seem as though FURIA are kind of looking for info on the A side as well. Serato again pushing his way into main, but the real information will come on the B side of the map as Yuri does get his head taken off by Heavy God. Still a lot of pressure out onto Yard as well, as Hunter is essentially solo faking the A side. He's taken a lot of space. This is a crazy move from him. He's got all the way into connector. He's got that Mac 10, and surely Yakinda cannot do anything here. He might get himself one, but no more than that.
Wow. Such a beautifully layered round from G2. Did take control of Inner's Halls, just denying global info on the map from FURIA. Hunter's been posted up inside CT Con since day dot. Punishes Molodoi for the peak, and HE nades himself maybe closer to an M4. Nice and easy round there for G2. After denying that info, they kick off a little bit of an outers execute, which turns into a flank to Inners after taking that Inners Halls control. And it's just a massive pinch onto Yakinda that he's not really able to deal with. You could see that FURIA did try to go for some of that mid-round aggression. You saw the flash play in towards upper ramp, but G2 were ready for it. Heavy God was already posted up. He was anti-flash for quite a while there and immediately punishes that uppers aggression.
A fantastic start to the map for G2, and you can see the reason why they picked this is starting to unfold. Coach Saw looking very, very relaxed in the back there. Just having a coffee, having a chill, you know. Doesn't really seem like he needs to be too locked in at all at the moment because everything's going to plan.
I mean, it's only early days here. This is the advancement game. Nobody's going to be eliminated off the back of this one. This is a team that you've played many times at this point. So you're feeling pretty confident in what you're going to be expecting from this series. Progression smoke outside of T-Con. The first time you're going to see a little bit more pace from G2 on outside here.
Well, we'll see. Flashes getting tossed on in now, but Serato with that spam, not going to get anything. Fallen, who gets 3, one of which comes from the Molotov, and all of a sudden, G2, their hype train is put to a stop. We'll see what some Pius and Hunter have to say about it. We've got one player out of T-Con.
CTs don't have much economy. They need to keep this clean, and Molodoi will do exactly that. Sun Pius at least able to take one with him. Orp will hit the deck for now. FURIA will need to scramble to recover that one. He's kept it expensive, Sun Pius.
Yep.
But regardless, FURIA will secure their first round. Problem is that G2 have got plenty of cash after a pretty clean 3-0 start, so the reset potential on the CT side is something you have to definitely be concerned about.
Yeah, nice work from Fallen, up close and personal, getting that 2-man spray down. The Molotov obviously helping him out as well.
Big
changes
with
that
the
round. Yeah, but doesn't necessarily bail FURIA out of trouble just yet. You mentioned, obviously, there's enough money here for G2 to have another crack. They are still in control of this map, particularly if they can pick this round up, and they're going to take a different approach this time around. It's just Malbs working his way out, and same position played by Serato. He's lucky to be alive because Malbs was locked in on that angle for the second attempt.
Oh, flash aggression from both of these teams paying off in spades. They go looking for Heavy God, who has been patient many times on the Inners Halls. Now Mattis looking to activate out Ivy. Sunpice is posted on the right side. If Serato peeks into this line, he's a dead man. Good patience from G2, being rewarded time and time again. A 2-man advantage as they start to converge on outside.
Yep. What's the answer here for Yuri and Molodoi? Maybe for Molodoi, it's just hang around and hope that maybe Yuri can get a little bit done with that MP9. If not, save the AWP. Hasn't really had the chance to get involved in this game with the AWP so far. And we're already now 5 rounds into the half.
It's just a great adjustment from G2 there. I mean, they purchased up the AWP in that round and they were a little bit lighter on the util. So just simplifying things down. Flash over the top of Con to activate Mobs. He's able to come up with the goods nice and early on. Reply from FURIA with the aggression on Inners Halls, and as soon as G2 loses that lurker towards that B side of the map, they just opt to up the ante, crunch in through T-Con and Ivy, and it felt like every single kill went their way from there.
Bit of a hunt happening here for G2. See if they can find Molodoi. There's not a lot of time on that bomb.
He was kind of the better of the AWPers in the debut game, I will say. I think Sunpius not necessarily going huge in the opener against 3D Max. Molodoi had a couple of moments, but that is against Lin Vision. I think the AWPers definitely can define this matchup. Last time they did play each other on Train over at EPL 22, neither one of the AWPers having a particularly great performance for their respective sides. Not that it was necessarily needed when you've got just such strong rifling cores. The majority of the work getting done by, respectively, K. Serrato, Heavy God, and Mattis, which I think early on, you're seeing Mattis in particular having a couple of big impact rounds, and Malbs is really getting warmed up now.
Yeah, a nice entry from Malbs in that last round. Now Molodoi going to try to get aggressive into Pop Dog with that AWP. Not seeing too much, and wisely for G2, they're not interested. Just going to dump a molly in there to make sure there's no push behind them.
Seeing if they can weigh down any aggression towards the inner halls here, knowing that the CTs will have some pistols to play with. We'll be looking for opportunities, but it's Molodoi who finds his.
Yeah.
The flash play with the jump peak was not clean enough. Now you get your Kindar starting to get activated. AK picked up for free. G2, a round that they wanted to get done cleanly, is falling apart.
Yeah, that's got to be a frustrating round for G2. I think the death to Molodoi, you know, it kind of is what it is. He's going to be somewhere. There's every possibility he hits a shot, and he does in this instance. But Yakinda finding that kill, and then the follow-up as well with the retrieved AK is where that round really starts to fall apart for G2. They don't really feel like they've had a chance to play this round at all, and it's been up against just an AWP. Now it's a double AWP for FURIA. That is a massive upgrade, plus the AK going into the back pocket of Yakinda. It could be a real shift in momentum here if FURIA can capitalize on this gift that has been bestowed upon them by G2.
I mean, it's a 4-1 start for G2. Everything has been going their way, but this is the kind of round that flips this game on its head. Look at the economy of G2 following this round. Molodoi slowly but surely closing in, scoped up on the angle. Wasn't caught off guard a singular time this round. And that's going to be a little bit of a facepalm for a G2 that felt like they were in total control.
Yeah, I mean, big win con, obviously, for FURIA is getting Molodoi involved, especially on this CT side, and that's the first instance of it. Nice couple of kills as well, it has to be said, from Yakinda in that one. Maybe this FURIA engine can start to come online. Double AWP, Fallen, back with the AWP in his hands again.
It's like the good old days. I'm going to see pace from G2 towards the inners halls. Yet again, it's just Yuri solo on over there, going to drop the molly to buy a little bit more time for some potential rotations. G2 in the meanwhile have thrown a lot of utility pressure on outside, but they're going to be storming their way into inners, straight into Yuri, but he delivers so far.
Yeah, Yuri's doing everything at the moment. He's got himself 3 and hanging on for another. That grenade would have done it had it not gone the way of K. Serrato. Honestly, I don't actually hate that idea from G2. You know that they've got a double AWP. Let's try and hit B site fast, but just has not worked out.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. As you mentioned, with the double AWP, I think the quicker execute into inners is very solid. At least initially, looking at the rotations, it seemed like all of that utility pressure on outside had actually drawn 3 or 4 players from FURIA with their full attention over there. But as you can see in the replays there, Yuri on the off angle finds 2 on those players scaling out uppers, and all of the riflers were already out of CT con and ready to fight inners. So despite the fact that I felt like looking at the radar, FURIA might have been a little bit out of position, the flood was more than quick enough to be able to just slap G2 when they try to set foot on that inner site.
Oh, you reap what you sow, and G2 have now unfortunately got themselves quite a poor harvest. There's no money really for them in this round. Some upgraded pistols here and there, and Heavy God trying to do what he can with the P250 is only going to be good enough for 1. And in such a quick amount of time, we've gone from a really dominated game by G2 to a 4-4 even scoreline with G2 calling a timeout.
It felt like some slower rounds, very measured play from G2 to start off this game. The Train on the T side, this was their pick. Everything was going to plan. You were talking about how comfortable Saw was looking. Now he's pacing back and forth a little bit more. He's looking a little bit more nervous. And as you mentioned, in a matter of minutes, we've gone from FURIA being broke with a solo AWP in Molodoi's hands to money everywhere. 10+K on some of these players. They are not running out of cash anytime soon. Maybe not for the rest of this half. And now G2, what was a pretty easy, straightforward T side where they just need to go from reset round to reset round and keep streaking away with the momentum. Now they're going to be forced to work for anything.
It's crazy. FURIA have done a Stewie 2K. They've taken all of G2's skins.
Oh, bro. Yeah, look, we've also revoked Jacob's Australian citizenship, but that's a story for another time.
Luckily, G2 have got a bit of money in the back pocket here, so they can afford it, it would seem, and they're going to roll on into round number 9 with some weaponry in tow. No AWP for them on this round. Molodoy lined up for another one, but fires a little bit too early.
He's going to have another crack, though. You can see just how tentative G2 are. Pegging flashes right and left, trying to get anything going on Ivy's side, but Molodoy is not dissuaded. Pushed off the line by a nice little peek over on Ivy's side. Now progression smoke. G2 starting to make some moves. Mattis came up huge in this position, but having used those extra flashes early on, they've got no way to break that second angle, and that's just a freebie for Molodoy again.
I mean, what's the option of choice now for G2? Is it just walk down ramp? I don't know that necessarily works out most days of the week. I mean, look at the crossfire they've got. Yuri and Yakinda say, thank you very much, we'll take that one. And some bias unable to deliver the package that he wants to send to that B bomb site. So 5-4 now the score, and FURIA really rising up the ranks on this CT side.
Yeah, Molodoy delivering, having a much better performance than the last game of Train that was played between these two teams. And we were just hearing the discussion in the interview about moving Yuri into some more anchoring roles and things like that. I don't think this map was necessarily the map that they were discussing, but at least it's the Inner's anchor here. He has just been infallible.
Quick play interconnector here for G2, but Molotov's going to keep them at bay for now.
Again, G2 just turning their attention back towards Ivy. We're going to need better flash coverage this time around. It doesn't even matter if Molodoy can see or not.
I mean, pistol's only here for G2 as well, so they don't really have the stopping power. Molodoy hitting everything. I mean, everybody hitting everything. It just feels like everything has changed up on the turn of one round. FURIA have gone from not even in this contest to utterly demolishing. Shots connecting with the orbs, shots connecting with the rifles, everything going their way. They're barely losing players.
Everyone performing across the board.
How much money have they got?
Oh, it's just
tons.
I've never even seen figures that look like that. You know,
yeah, that's
lucky
because you
to
commentate
scrape together
esports for a
$50
living.
for efficient chips in Sydney. But look, G2, let's see if they can turn around the pain train. It's not going to be easy to do. Pacing towards Inners yet again. This time, Yuri looking to contest, creeping up on low ramp.
Yeah, bold play, but the way that FURIA is going at the moment, I don't mind it at all. He's going to catch Heavy God. The flash assist coming through as well. It's all working in unison right now for FURIA.
Another man disadvantage. Somebody's got to make a play, and Hunter, you can tell that he's the one that's itching to do it, but Yakinda on the off angle. Molodoy aggressing into Inner. Was there a single player from G2 that was ready to get peaked in this round?
No. Maybe the ones that were got flashed.
Oh, man. Heavy God, full white. Nothing he could really do. Mulbs, he's thinking about that round where he got a nice entry out T-Con. Happier times.
Yeah, yeah. Feels like a decade ago.
Oh, man.
Speaking of, Fallen, another nice connection with the orb.
Can't even get back into your spawn. FURIA are giving them nothing.
Bang. Yeah, this is really just, I feel like a lesson in Counter-Strike. You know, it's one of those games that can really turn on a dime. You're never, it's never over until it's over. And it's for reasons like this, it just felt like we've watched two completely different games in the same half.
I mean, it's nice to see a team that's not Australian get ecoed, and then, you know, the game immediately slips away. That having watched many years of Australian CS, it is usually the storyline of like, oh man, we're in it. We're doing pretty good. We're so back. Oh my God, we lost to Pistols. Oh, it's over.
Hey, FlyQuest is not even in this tournament. They did not deserve for wrecked. But I tell you what, like, end of the day, if G2 do get to 5, you still go, not too bad of a T half.
5 on T side, win a pistol, we're in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's really about momentum right now for FURIA. And the question, you know, that is really being asked at this point is, how are you breaking that momentum? As G2, can you get just one round towards the end of the half with an MP7 Khalil Deagle play against, I mean, only a singular AWP? FURIA feeling like the double AWP has already kind of delivered enough, especially against a lower buy. You could definitely see G2 picking up weapons where they could pick up the pace a little bit more. So I actually like the fact that FURIA's gone away from the double AWP.
Yeah.
Nice little high-low inside a Pop Dog there. Molodoi floating around outside an Ivy. G2 really running the clock down.
Yeah, I wonder what the ultimate goal for them is here. I mean, you'd have to imagine it's going to be an A finish. But how do they hope to get into this site without the map control? Well, here comes that push from Fallen that might give them an angle, but just catches Heavy God.
I mean, he dinks him, but he's only got an MP7. They've just been bullying him on the lurk time and time again.
Okay, Serrato floating around behind this smoke is going to be a difficult one to dislodge. That molly will change up his position, and the Deagle actually does land its connection. E-Box player dealt with as well. Malbs finding those entries that he was having so much success with earlier on in the half, and a missed shot from Molodoi. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It feels like we've gone back to the first 5 rounds of the game. Malbs doing everything. On plant, though, denied. And so Molodoi has a chance here. He has swindled his way onto the side. He's got Hunter, and now into the 1v1 against Mattis with 13 seconds. All he has to do is watch this cross and make sure. Really lacked in the middle and late stages of that half, though. And we end up with an 8-4 lead for FURIA on G2's map pick.
Yeah, after a 4-1 start for G2, where it felt like they could do no wrong on the T side, they were in cruise control, working their way through the map. Everything was going to plan. We live in a very different reality now. FURIA starting off their T-side campaign, and it might not need to be a long one if they win this pistol.
Certainly not. Quick flash into the B halls. Heavy God have a little customary glance, but he didn't actually spot the players working their way into Pop Dog. I'm sure G2 will be well aware of the possibility, though. A nice setup to get their way quickly into the A side. Here come the smokes. One for Connector, one for Icon as the push comes through for FURIA. And no real contest thus far. Some shots starting to flow back and forth, and Hunter on the site is going to be the critical player that will fall and open up the possibility of a bomb plant if it were not left by E-Box. But it doesn't matter when everyone is dead.
Fallen just so incredibly sharp in this current era. After his transition to the rifle, like his mechanically, it's just impressed so much. Remember him having flashes with the rifle back in the day when he was on the orb here and there, but like it's just kind of crazy that this man's rediscovered a level of form that really just over-delivers on what you would really expect from the man. And I think it's a key reason why FURIA has so much depth. T-side pistol picked up here, forced by, in reply from G2, Yakinda has crept out in front of the T-con smoke. UMP in hand. In the meantime, you've seen G2 slip into Pop Dog. May not be aware of his position. Serrato now joining up with Yakinda, and out comes the outer spot execute.
Yeah, there's the flash that's trying to set Yakinda up, and it works out quite nicely. Matisse will go down. Yakinda going to look for a little bit more with that USP. It's not really done him any favors, though, as Malbs is able to double down, but still, the flood of players continues. FURIA still trying to work their way into this A site.
Molodoi 15-6, hungry for more here in the pole position with the AK. Sun Pius very low on the little pixel line. Does take a chunk out of him.
That's going to be unsettling for Molodoi, but he's still able to continue to push his way forward. The difficulty is now, Molodoi is pretty much 100% committed to this A site because he's tucked in this corner with no HP. He's also the guy that's holding onto the bomb, so there's no real option for FURIA now but to try to clear A.
Yeah. Creep up into Con there from Yakinda. A much needed kill there on Heavy God, which will apply pressure to the side of G2 and potentially threaten a wrap in through Con. Now feeling safe enough to cross to the site and get this plant down from up on high. Yakinda has out-positioned them, and Sun Pius with no HP probably just wants to try to save the scout at this point.
Yeah, it was definitely hanging in the balance for a moment there, but very nicely done by FURIA to get that over the line so comfortably, and no scout save this time around, so 10-4 with a bit of an easier round coming up for FURIA. It's looking like Train's going to be a bit of a non-affair.
Yeah. I've seen a number of one-sided maps between these two teams, some closer. It's usually a 2-0, no matter which way you swing it. I've seen even G2 just kind of run away with some of these series against FURIA and kind of batter them one-sidedly. This time it feels like FURIA's day. They're a team that we've kind of mentioned it a couple of times. They have their eyes set on trying to have a big placement here at an IEM event after winning a couple of smaller titles for themselves. And being that first seed going straight through into the playoffs would be a great way to start their campaign.
Same angle for Yakinda as he gets out very, very quickly from T-Con. This time G2 come walking into him to present that opening kill. As I said, a bit of a non-factor of a round coming up here for G2 with just the pistols in hand. Really even any damage really being done here to FURIA.
G2 are just so far behind at this point.
Yeah, it's a massive comeback that's going to be required from them, and it has to start next round. But
I don't know if they're even going to take a gun away here. Like, Heavy God's got a dig, but no one's giving him anything. He's stuck behind that Ivy smoke, and I just don't know, man. It's going to take something special from G2. This was the standout performer the last time that G2 were able to take on FURIA on train and get the dub. Currently 3-11. Make that 3-12. Can't connect a shot with the dig to take even one gun out of the hands of FURIA. It feels like since round number 6, they can do no wrong.
yeah, this has been a dominant display by FURIA thus far. Doesn't feel like that's going to slow down. But of course, come round out here for G2, so let's see what they can do on their CT side. Unfortunately, they're really not going to get the chance to get rolling on it. It's got to start from the outset. You know, you're coming in cold on the CT side, but you just have to make it happen.
Pace from Molodoi, Sun Pius, the first time he's got the AWP on this CT side, and if he doesn't deliver with it, it could be the last looking at the scoreline, so it's a good opener. Yakinda, Ivy Lurk has been isolated. Now Molodoi wants to get active, but wasn't ready for Molbs on the off angle. G2 starting to pick up the pieces now.
Yeah, a couple of cheeky aim duels being won. That'll be a big difference maker. G2 want to continue to push their advantage. They'll take long control. And even sending Mattis on a bit of an expedition here will more than likely bear fruit as he finds the backs of 2 players in T-Con. So this round working out nicely for G2.
Oh. He's run circles around Quesarado there. That exact same flash is what you saw from him in that eco round on the T side. FURIA have even seen him underarm that one before, and it's worked both times. That's a trusty old reliable one.
Mm.
The vibes are weird here, bro. What is going on with this, like, music? Can we change the station?
Yuri's in the break room, man. He's just having a chill.
This is very honky-tonk, you know? We're done with Atlanta. This is Chengdu.
Thought you were into that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we got some southern food the other night.
Some American barbecue.
Hell yeah, man. Awesome, good stuff. I mean, Brazilian barbecue seems to be cooking pretty good here. I didn't know we were doing our feet picks on ESL CS, but all right.
Be my guest, mate.
Fair. Save does come through there from Yuri. G2 not feeling bold enough to go for the hunt. It's really only early days. They need every gun that they can get if they're going to put this comeback together.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it had to come together in that gun round, and it did, and that has at least given them the chance to continue to play. But how long is that going to run for? I mean, yeah, it had to be sort of 7 rounds in a row. Still kind of has to be 7 rounds in a row. At least to hold on to control of this game. So it's a long, long way. But Sun Pius is definitely putting in that work at Ivy. That's the second opener for him in as many rounds.
Yeah, wins the AWP duel versus Molodoi as well, who was on a bit of a heater up until this point. Says, pipe down, son. We're getting back in the game. Yakinda hanging around here. Thinking about his timing to potentially take a peek as some more pressure coming into outside for FURIA, trying to take some pressure away from Ivy. And look, that's not really had any effect on Sun Pius. It's just the sharp shot, nicely timed peek from Yakinda, and now we're going to get a biff over at Pop.
Uh-oh, this could go wrong for FURIA. See if they can catch the timing. They don't. Yuri gets 1, but luckily, Mattis gets 2. So G2 still walk away happy and walks right into the setup. But at the end of the day, just shoot a little bit better, and that makes a big difference. Mattis caught off this time. Gets info, though, and those players that are already set up on B are happy to stay.
For sure. It's a good setup here to defend this B ending. All posted up on the rotation here for Yakinda, but there's no one to even rotate into position because, as you mentioned, you have seen G2 posted up here for quite a while. Off angle over here from Heavy God, waiting for Furia to creep up their way through Con. Don't know if he's going to be able to spot them on the rotation. In towards outside. Oh no, Hunter could be a dead man here.
It depends on where he ends up going. If he stays in position until that bomb plant, he will be able to find himself a kill. Has been now spotted out. Fallen will take that fight with glee. He'll take the bomb plant as well. So Heavy God missing the trick there with that cross. He's going to have to get this job done alone. Will be smoked off. And the molly into Pop Dog as well. So just no real easy avenue forward for him. And Quesarado aware that he's in the smoke. Let's loose a couple of shots. No real connections on his behalf. It's Heavy God that comes off better for it, but he has still got that time working against him. Even the nade into the smoke doesn't present anything, and he will give up the round. It seems like time has ticked a little too far away for him to be interested, and that is going to be a bitter pill to swallow, as it will give Furia 12, and it will give them map point.
On their opponent's map pick as well. Very, very nicely done there from Furia. Great mid-rounding in the XVX, finding the gap that needed to be exploited. Wasn't really much that Hunter could do from that particular position, unfortunately. Despite the fact that the round starts off well for Sun Bias, Yakinda buying his time to get a messy exchange towards Pop and Inners. And after we boil things down into the 2-on-2 with Fallen alive in the server, just out mid-rounding G2 to put them under the pump, facing up against Map Point. A team that they were able to beat in their last outing. Did squeeze a 13-11 on Train last time around. This has been a very different affair, unfortunately.
No warp this time around for G2, and that's... Oh, no, there is there. Never mind. I was going to say that's been a big point for them in these opening couple of gun rounds on the CT side, so I think it's very important that Sampaius is going to be able to, keep having a crack. I'm interested to see if he will continue to go toward Ivy, or does that become a little bit predictable now that he's found 2 kills over in that part of the map? Is he going to change it up? And it looks like he's going Ivy again.
It's keeping the setup that has been working. I mean, it really was kind of the XVX that didn't go well. Molbs charging through off the back of a flash or something in towards T-Con, punished by Molodoi. Sampaius, though, continues to deliver both of the AWPers, cutting down numbers.
Molodoi might have a chance here again onto Matisse, who is jumping up on top of the train. Not keen to swing it in the end.
Molodoi smoked off by Sampaius. Meanwhile, Furia making some moves towards Inner, but a 2-man aggression on low round. Once again, it is these duels in the mid-round. Heavy God peppered quite heavily, down to 5 HP. Sampaius accordingly going to rotate, try to reinforce the inner side, as will Matters, but this is anything but a commitment from Furia, and with 2 mollies thrown over there from Furia, it really kind of fakes that there's more commitment, more numbers towards Inners than there actually is. Sampaius died to the molly. Right, he was full HP, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Heavy God was the low HP player. We'll have to see if we can get a replay of that one. Quesarado gets the trade onto Matisse, and so numbers advantage, and again, it's Heavy God that's stuck in the 1v2, but this one feels even more impossible than the last. He's got no HP. He's got 5 HP to his name, so this is going to have to be a perfect read from Heavy God.
Yeah.
But he is making steps, and that has been heard.
A lot of weight on Heavy God's shoulders, and you're exactly right. Molodoi posted up on the line, and he has not been missing this game. A 13-5 dropping on G2's map pick to start off this advancement series here.
And it really didn't feel like it was going to be the case, right? Like, we watched those first 4 or 5 rounds and we thought, man, G2, they're off to an absolute steamer here. They're going to dominate.
What a great pick of Train. Wow, this
I know.
going well. Look